Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking this video. My name is Susan. In today's tutorial, I'll be creating the overlap skirt that you're looking at on the screen. To get started, I have my basic skirt block here. If you don't know how to draft it, I'll leave link down in the description box below. The front is drafted on fold, whereas the back is on quarter scale. So let's get started. This is very easy and is beginner friendly. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open the front panel like this. You can see this fold line at the center. So I'm going to mark 1 inch away from the fold line. This is half scale. You can use 2 inches or 3 inches, depends on you for your full scale. So I'll be marking 1 inch from the fold line, the center line. 1 inch, I'll mark it up here, then I'll also mark it down here, then I'll connect it. The next thing I want to do is to come up from the hip line by 1.5 inch. You can use 3 inches for your full scale. Then I'll connect in a curve to join this 1 inch line. Moving to the overlap part of the skirt, you determine how wide you want it. So from this 1 inch, I'm going to mark 5/8 away from the 1 inch. You can double it for your full scale. Mark 5/8 here, then I'll connect it. This new part on the right hand side, excluding this curve line, I'm going to trace it on that fresh pattern paper. I'll also trace this dart also. Here I have my pattern paper. I'm placing it underneath. I also have my tracing wheel to trace it out. I'll trace this line out first. Trace the dart. I'm going to use my pencil to trace the body out, the waist, the side, and the hem. Right now, I'm going to use my marker to trace all the markings I have on this new pattern paper out. The next thing is to cut it out. It's time to create our slash lines. The first line, I'm going to mark it very close to this dart. The second one will be somewhere around here. I'm going to fold this dart, mask it down, then slash the lines. Here I have another pattern paper that I'm going to place underneath. I'm going to place this on it like this, and I'm going to spread it. Decide how big you want your pleat to be. But for this half scale, I'm going to spread it by 1.5 inch, then mask it down. After securing it with my masking tape, I'm going to cut it out. To cut the waistline, I'm going to fold it towards the center front. I'm going to fold the spreading, that's the 1.5 inch. I'll fold it towards the center front, then cut. I'm going to label the size so as not to mismatch it when I place it on my fabric. I'm going to set this aside, then take this. Alright, so I'm going to discard this curve area. I'm going to cut it off. Now we want to create our star lines on this part of the skirt. You can create as many lines as you want, but because this is half scale, I don't have much space. I'm just going to create like 3 lines. So I'll make sure the first line is touching this dot here, the edge of the dot, like so. Alright, then the second one, I'm going to create it somewhere here. draw the line. Then the third one, I'll make sure is also touching this dart, the other dart, that's the apex of the dart. Like I said, you can create as many lines as possible. The next thing I want to do now is to close the two darts. Before I cut the lines, I'm going to redraw them. Here I have another pattern paper underneath. I'm going to spread the lines by 1.5 inch, the same measurement I used for the other part of the skirt. Then I'll mask it down. After spreading, I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to first cut this part, then the spreading, I'm going to fold it upward in a plate, then cut it. Alright, so I have my patterns ready to be placed on my fabric, then cut out. Here I have it cut out on my fabric. This part of the front I added the 1 inch as side seam, then here half, here half, here half, then the hem here I added 1.5 inch, and I cut one piece each on both the lining and the main fabric. I'm using the same fabric as my lining. Then I reduce the length of the lining by 2 inches. Then here I notch the spacing so I'll know where to fold. That's the 1 inch spread. I notch them so I'll be able to identify where to fold. Alright, so this part of the front I added 1 inch here at the side, hem 1.5, half the rest. Then the lining also I reduced by 2 inches and I cut one piece each. Then I notch the spreading, that's the 1.5 inch, so I'll know where to pleat when I'm stitching. Alright, so then this is the back. I added 1 inch here, 1 inch here, hem 1.5, here half an inch. Then I cut two pieces each, the main fabric two, the lining two. Then I reduce the length by 2 inches also. The next thing now is I'm going to remove the patterns, then take it to my sewing machine. Then this part of the front, I'm going to stitch the pleat. I'll fold it upward. Looking at that picture is folded upward. So I'm going to follow the notch area. I'll fold upward. I'll do it on the main fabric and also the lining also. This part of the front also, I'm going to remove the pattern, then I'm going to follow the notch, then pleat it. I'm going to pleat it towards the center front. This one is going to have 2 pleats, whereas the other part of the skirt is going to have 3 pleats. I'm going to do this on the main lining, on the main fabric, sorry, and the lining. For the back, I'm going to hold the dart on the 4 pieces, the main fabric and the lining. Here I have a stitch. I stitch it upward, the pleat. Alright, I did the same to the lining. Then here is this other part of the skirt. I stitch it towards the center front. I did the same to the lining. So I'm going to place right side facing right side facing right side. Then I'm going to stitch on half an inch on this area, half an inch. Then 2 inches before the end of the lining, I'm going to stop there because I want to roll the hem later on. So this other part of the front also, I'm going to do the same, right side facing right side. Then I'll stitch on half an inch at the center front. Then I'll stop 2 inches before the end of the lining. Then I'll notch and understitch. Then here I have my dart stitch on both the lining and the main fabric. I have a stitch and I also went ahead and understitch so I can trim the excess seam so it will not be bulky. Now this other side also, I have a stitch and also went ahead and understitch. So now I'm going to place this together like the main fabric and the lining, this part that I pleated. I'm going to take this the lining of this part of the skirt. I'm going to place it. This is the main fabric and this is the lining. So I'm going to place the lining on it like this. Then I'm going to stitch the 3 pieces together. That's the 2 for this other side and 1 of this, making 3. I'll stitch it together, then I'll be back. I'm done stitching this together. I stitch the 3 pieces together. This is the front, the main fabric. So I'm going to take the back now, the main fabric. I'm going to turn it right side, facing right side on this. Then I'll pick the main fabric. I'll leave in the lining. I'll place them together like this. Then I'll stitch on 1 inch at the side seam. You can use whatever method you know best. I just like to vary my sewing method. Now I'll place this also right side facing right side, leaving the lining. Then I'll stitch on 1 inch. Then I'll be back. I'm done stitching the main fabric. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it to the back. The lining will be facing me. This is the lining. Sorry, I'm using the same fabric. Well, if you pay attention, well, you get it. So this is the lining facing me now. So I'm going to take the back lining now. I'm going to align the sides together. Then I'll stitch on 1 inch. The sides like this, 1 inch. Then I'll take the other side also, the lining, right side facing right side. Then I'll stitch on 1 inch like this. Alright, so I'm done stitching the sides of the lining. Remember, we left 2 inches down, so I will be able to roll the hem of the lining. The 2 inches now, okay? So now we are going to iron this side open, then I'll roll it twice, then stitch down, making sure that the side seam is open. Roll it twice, then this other side of the lining also. Don't worry, by the time you start yours, you understand it better. So this is the lining also. I'm going to do the same. I'll make sure I iron the side open, iron it flat like this, then roll it twice. After rolling it twice, stitch it, then I'll finish the remaining seam, the down part on half an inch. I'll do the same to this other side also. I'm done stitching the hem of the lining, so I'm going to turn it to the right side because the back is joined with the front. So this is the zipper side. This side is the zipper side. Then the other part here also, back and front is joined together, so this is the zipper side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it on this zipper side, right side facing right side. Then I'm going to stitch on 1/4 of an inch. I'll do the same to the other side. I'm done stitching on 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to turn it inside out. Then I want to set it. All right, this is the zipper side, so then this is the front, this is the side seam, pushing it to the back. Then this is the other side, this is the side seam, and I'm going to place this way. I'll set it very well. Then this is from the side seam, turn it to the back. All right, but before then I'm going to stitch on the waistline just to hold the lining and the main fabric together. Set it well, stitch together like this. Then I'm going to place the zipper on each other, the zipper side on each other like this, right side facing right side. Fix the zip, then stitch the remaining down. I'm done fixing the zipper side. Okay, so the next, now I'm going to turn it inside out. All right, looking nice. Okay, so the next now is to roll the hem. You know, we use 1.5 inch as a hem allowance, so I'm going to roll it on 1.5 up like this, then roll 1/2 inch at the edge like this. I can tack it or I can stitch it down, depends on the kind of finishing I want. Then the waist, I'll cut band for the waist. I use hemming gun to hold the hem for now. Later I'll tack it down or stitch it down. So I have my band cut out. What I did was I cut my interfacing 1 inch by the width of the skirt, then I added like 3 inches extra. So I left 1/2 inch down, then iron the interfacing, 1/2 inch at the bottom, iron the interfacing, then I roll it up the 1/2 inch, I roll it up like this, then I roll everything up also like this. Then I mark another half an inch and I cut it from there. To fix the band, I'm going to stitch this part that does not have interfacing. I'm going to place it inside the skirt, that's on the lining of the skirt, pushing allowance out, and I'll stitch on half an inch till I get to the other edge of the skirt. Alright, so I'm done stitching. I'm going to turn it this way. That's the wrong side. This way. Alright, then I'm going to mark like 3/4 of an inch from the zipper side, and I'll stitch it on the 3/4 line. Then the other side, I'm also going to turn it this way. Then I'm going to stitch it on the same level with the zipper, like this. Okay, I have the two side stitch, so I'm going to cut the excess and the corners. Alright, so I'm going to turn it this way. Overlapping it this way, I'm going to take it to my machine and I'm going to stitch it very close to the edge of the band, from one end to the other, very close to the edge of the band. And here it is after fixing the band. So the next thing is to fix the skirt hook here. All right, then I'll take it to my ironing table and iron, then wear it on my dress form for you to see. But please, when you're creating yours, use a good fabric, because this fabric is actually restricting my ironing. So make sure you use a good fabric. Look at this beauty. Isn't this lovely? Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please don't forget to support me by subscribing, give it a thumbs up. You can also hit the notification bell so as to get notified when I upload new videos. Till I come your way again. Bye for now.